going on, brother?
Peace, bro. How you doing this morning?
Hey, man, I'm doing fantastic. Doing great. Just can't wait to rock this show today, man. Got a good show.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to this one here. Yes, indeed.
Sir, yes, sir.
How was your week?
Man, the week was good, man. It's I did something. I took a position that I couldn't resist, and do that and my life insurance because I just really got some things that I want to do in the investment world and other stuff, man. So I wanted to double up on this income for a little bit. So that's been interesting. Just out here training and adhering to a particular other people's schedule. OPS.
Yes.
People's schedule. So,
right. So you're still discovering opportunity out there. Man,
that's the beautiful thing because I'm in contact with people all day long with what I'm doing. So, may be able to cross advertise. Yeah. I'm gonna pull some business from over here to over there. So it'll be beautiful, man. I'm loving it already,
Man, that's what's up.
All good. Get to be mobile all day and then talk to people all day long, man. It's gonna be fantastic. So how's your week?
Man, it's been awesome. Producing like normal. What can I say? Everything's on time. I think every week for me is a challenge to do more than the week I did before. Of course, I do that monthly, but when you are on a task and you continue to work on that task daily on whatever your goal is, you look back and see how much you accomplished. And that is so satisfying that I can look back and say, damn, I've accomplished this much this week from last week. And you continue to move forward and never allowing something to deter you or, just because you have one issue. We always going to have issues in life, period, let alone business. And so you got to keep moving forward towards your goal. It's a beautiful thing to struggle because struggling builds character, right?
Absolutely. So, and it's I love it. I love what you're talking about because the thought process, you yourself, you have an amazing focus, unlike many others. So that's first and foremost. But nonetheless, some people allow things to deter them and pull them off track, and I think that is because, I think should be a book that people can have to say how to live and prosper, and in that book would include everyday things to do in life, and one of which would be write your goals down. Because one of the reasons why people get pulled off track and deterred is because they don't have those goals written down and they have them sitting where they can see them daily and then continue to cite or reaffirm them daily. Because if you got them there daily, if you're looking at them daily, then guess what? It's a little bit easier to stay focused. You know where you're going, so that when you come across these struggles, these things that want to pull you away, guess what? It's easy to just push forward and push through because you know where you're going. So it's beautiful, man, and that's what I love even about any change or any rocky roads is the ability to know where I'm going. So you hit the nail on the head with that one, man. So I guess, hey, it's time to go ahead and rock this show. Shout out to Dorothy Sisson Connor. He is saying good morning. And got a few other people on here. I see y'all out there watching there. Hey, just shout out, chime in. I know not everybody wants to talk or chit chat. You may not want your name to show up, but hey, just give us a good morning. Just give us a shout out. Say what's up. Because we're about to move to our first segment here.
What's most important is share. Push that share button. put it on your page, share it with others, and they can see it also. It's extremely important that we share this information. It's free to do, don't cost you nothing. We got to learn to do that for each other if we really want to support each other,
Man,
support what we do. It's just a simple button. Boom, share that.
absolutely. We wouldn't have to wait for a special day to commune with each other that look like us. You know, we can do it every day, all day. Just click the
All
share
day.
button. You know what I mean? It's good. Absolutely. So you ready to go ahead and rock this show?
Man, let's rock it.
All right. Let's get it, folks. It is your favorite, most amazing Saturday morning podcast show, The Tipping Point, with truly Mr. Just Ask Joe and my other brother from another mother, brother Esoteric John Yah himself.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yah. You ready? Streaming live all over social media and on your favorite music and podcast streaming platforms.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Also, check out thetippingpointshow.com. The Tipping Point Show.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you guys kidding me?
All right, folks, you know what time it is. It is time for that amazing crypto wrap-up with Mr. Crypto Kenny himself. He's coming to the stage, folks. I want y'all to get ready because he's got some dope crypto info to share with us. And guess what? He's going to do it in about 5 minutes. And we're probably going to go ahead and ask him this question about the MLK Day. Have we reached it yet as well? But we'll start off bringing him on, talking crypto wrap up. Brother Crypto Kenny, how you doing, family?
I'm excited. Fantastic. How you guys doing today?
Man, awesome this morning, man. Awesome.
Awesome, brother.
Yeah, so we got some stuff to go over in 5 minutes. So let me just jump right into it because it's one of those days where my mind is spinning and, you know, I could end up rambling for too long. So I'm going to just start off with a point that Brother Joe just mentioned. He said when you write down your goals, that's important because you can see them every day, so on and so forth. It's kind of like a blueprint for you to get to where you're going. Do you know that if the people that write down their goals compared to the others that don't, they have 1,000% increase in terms of their production? 1,000%. From people that write down their goals to those that don't write down their goals. 1,000% increase for the ones that do. So just keep that in mind. Also, when it comes to crypto right now, crypto is really exciting. Bitcoin is on the move. Went from, I believe, 17 to hit like 21K in the last couple of days. So it's kind of looking a little bit bullish. This is what everybody looks for, the constant rise in Bitcoin. However, for the average investor, or the person that wants to get into crypto and investing in that manner, they should learn what dollar cost averaging is so they can slowly put their savings into the right locations before this time, because everybody's going to get excited once Bitcoin starts, you know, going crazy and going from 20 to 30, 30 to 40, you know, some predicting that it's going to go, you know, past 100K. But you have to prepare yourself before it even gets there. And the way that you do is you take the extra money that you have whenever you get paid, and you evaluate your investments, and you what they say is buy the dip. So that means where you don't buy crypto when it's going up and it's green, you buy it when it goes back down and it's red. That way you position yourself for a higher percentage increase when you do invest. So that's something that I wanted to share. You really got to learn dollar cost averaging, and you don't necessarily need to put it into Bitcoin. You know, the movement of Bitcoin determines the movement of the altcoins, the other coins. So there are thousands of other coins. There's also a top 20 cryptocurrencies out there right now that are doing really well. What individuals should do is find out the ones that are affordable to them based on the amount of money that they make, and then dollar cost average that, because you could put $20 into Bitcoin and it could only make you 30 cents, you know, if it increases in value. But if you put $20 into a coin that's under $1, you know, you're going to be making, multiple dollars on that increase as opposed to cents. You know, if you have a way where you could put down, you know, $1,000+ then, you know, your increases are going to be a little bit higher. But that's the way that you evaluate the investment industry. Wealthy people live in this manner. They have their money working for them. So one of our platforms that we have right now is called Daisy. It's a crowdfunding module. I've spoken about it several times on this show. It's a branch off from a very large company that deals in AI bot systems and strategies. And they created a decentralized app on the blockchain that, you know, the average investor can put anywhere from $100 to $25,000 in, you know, will equate to over 100K when it's all said and done in terms of your investments. But Daisy has been on fire. You're looking at, since April of 2022, Daisy is up 563%. So if you think about that, to be up 563%, that means if they had $100 of yours, now you've made $500. You know what I mean? So if you think about somebody that has a lot of money to invest or a lot of money to gamble or risk, if they put $100,000 into a Daisy platform, in less than a year's time, they would get back 500K. That's absolutely unheard of. And these are systems that we're working with. Obviously, you know, I'm not a financial expert. All I do is research programs and platforms out there that are sustainable, that I believe are sustainable and have a good track record. And then I try my best to let people know about them and invest in them myself. So Daisy has been a blessing for us. I'm truly confident about its sustainability. We're looking at, you know, by the time it hits April, it'll have done over probably 700% from a year to year time, April to April. So, real quick
before you go, what's the utility on Daisy?
Well, Daisy is a decentralized app on the blockchain. It's designed around crowdfunding. So the parent company, Endotech, they want to go public. They want to have their systems and strategies all over the place. They want to be able to trade on the stock exchange or the NASDAQ. I forget what they want to where they want to trade, have their company trading at. And it costs, I think it costs like several $1 million to get your company on there. Maybe even, I don't know exactly how much it costs specifically. However, give me 1 second. However, that's one of their goals. So they use this crowdfunding module to raise capital to achieve that. In the interim, they're using their AI bots strategies to use the money that people invest. Like imagine a GoFundMe that when you put the money in, they actually use AI bots to trade your investment, right? That's basically what it is. So it doesn't, well, I wouldn't even say investment, to trade your funding, your crowdfunding. So they do a lot of things within that manner to kind of help the public and get around some of the rules that are out here. They're based in Dubai. Their utility is just really just the strategies of Endotech. They're using the AI bot system that Endotech has. Endotech is already a multi-billion-dollar company that's been doing this for years. They've already been giving their clients 400 to 600% on their returns for a couple years now. I want to say even a few years. So the fact that they're going to be able to take that same success history and apply it to an app like Daisy that was just built and launched in 2020 is phenomenal. And Daisy didn't always start off good. It started off slow on the crypto side of trading, and then a year later, they introduced Forex bot trading, and that's been exploding.
Sure.
So it takes time and research to find projects that are sustainable and that work. But once you do find them, you have to completely maximize that opportunity so you can make the most from it.
Let me ask you a question. I got 2 questions for you real quick. One is for the average person, let's say the person is making just minimum wage or whatever, they want to get in. What do you suggest? What part of their income should go in? 10%, 30%? What would you suggest?
That's a good question.
It's basically they can risk, right? We're talking about what they can risk and not hurt their paying their rent and.
Well, I don't really look at it in terms of percentages unless you are making enough money where, you don't ever have to worry about how to divide your revenue, but when it comes to, so I don't really look at percentages because the average person has to kind of like divvy up their paycheck each time they get it,
Okay.
right? So it'll be hard to maybe stay, consistent with one percentage. The best thing I could say that somebody could do is, follow the rules of Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. He has a segment on there, pay yourself first. You know what I mean? So you want to get into a position where when you do get paid, you take care of all of the things that are necessary for yourself first. And then with the remaining money, then you can kind of, pay your bills or whatever. Not necessarily pay your bills, but kind of invest. So you want to do everything. You want to have everything situated first. And then with the leftover money, then you could kind of take care of, what you want to take care of.
Gotcha.
That strategy.
Go ahead.
I say that strategy is more important than actually just percentages. Just every time you get paid, take care of the things that are most important to you, and also take care of your investments as well. So try and do all of that in one umbrella: your bills, your investments, your things for your kids, for yourself. And then with the rest of the money, then you can kind of like put that aside. But for the most part, it's not necessarily percentages, because things change, life gets in the way, things pop up, so it'll be just get to a point where every time you do get paid, you're taking that extra little bit of money that you have, and instead of, partying or spending it on, foolishness or going out to eat, try and create a discipline with yourself where you can put that aside. Because in 2 years, with the proper discipline, it could change your life.
Correct. Now, looking back, a look back at the time when Martin Luther King was alive, what he was speaking about, what do you say about where we are now? Have we achieved anything? Just your quick opinion. Have we gotten to the dream yet, or are we still in the dream?
I personally think we're still in the dream.
Okay.
Society has a way of tricking people, right? Whoever the higher ups, quote unquote, or a lot of the people that control the narrative in this country, quote unquote, the media, a lot of different industries, they're still playing games with African American people and Black people. Mm-hmm. So they're moving the target. Mm-hmm. So the reason why I say that is because we went from freeing slaves to now incarcerating African Americans at a high rate, which is another form of modern day slavery, right? So Martin Luther King did a good job of highlighting this and making us strive for something. But if you really pay attention to how society is structured and what's been happening, there's still, the dream is still, we're still on the road to the dream. Some people have achieved that dream from a Black person's standpoint. However, his dream was for all people, not just a select percentage of Black people, right? It was for all people, all races, all colors, all religions, to be able to have an opportunity at reaching that American dream, right? So I don't necessarily think we've gotten there yet. I think we have a long way to go. Okay. I think that the awareness is out. But again, I think that Black people or African American people, brown people, however you want to label the culture or the race, I think we're still dealing with, if you watch the news, we're still dealing with redlining. We're still dealing with, real estate issues in certain areas. I seen an article the other day where, they've been putting, you can get your house evaluated, to see what the price point is for you to sell it. They're insurance agents that are, putting people that are Black people's houses at a lower price point. And then when they change the house up to make it look like they were a white couple, then the price of the house goes up like $200,000. $200,000, $100,000. That's a lot of money. Think about that. It's a lot of money to play around and just say, look, your house is worth $300,000 if you're Black, but if you're white, it's worth $450,000. That's a huge amount of money that you're playing games with somebody on. So that still happens a lot in society. I think that this is a very sensitive subject for me because I notice these types of things all the time. Even on job applications, to identify if somebody is Spanish or Black or white, or Indian
always
on a
put
job
I always put an
application.
extra. I always put an extra line down there, and I write in blue. So
Yeah,
that's
I
what
mean,
I
think about it.
appreciate.
What is the reason? What is the real reason for that? The real
Yeah.
reason for that is so that, you know, people that are hiring, if they do have a bias, it's easy for them to identify where it is. Oh, this person's brown, this person's black, this person's African American. I'm not going to interview them. I'm not going to hire them. I'll interview this Caucasian person.
Right.
So, you know, again, it's a very sensitive subject to me. I think that we, you know, as people of color, we have to work twice as hard to get half the results. But that makes us more. That makes us more. You know, sharper when it comes to our expertise in anything.
Great
That's
answer.
where we've been able to still accomplish a lot.
Gotcha. Great answer, brother.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
bro.
that.
Hey, appreciate you, man. It's Crypto Wrap Up, the Crypto Kenny coming through. Listen, when it comes to being able to be a part, I need to, because I think you sent out a text to everyone, and we have to update our information or something like that.
And I'm also going to be sending you. I'll be sending you a specific URL that discounts the price point for Bitcoin Campus. I'll get that out to you today. That way you can connect it to the Bitcoin Campus file in the tipping show. Yeah.
So if you guys are interested in becoming a part of the Bitcoin Campus, which all this information, it's like one-on-one. Okay, you have access to groups and information that the mainstream does not, because what Crypto Kenny has done is pull together people from all over the world that are experts in different things within the crypto space, from kins to everything else. So you get access to it for a monthly fee, or you can pay a one-time fee. Promise you, it's way less expensive than what you can even be thinking. And through the Tipping Point Show, you actually get another discount as well. So we'll get that out to you. But if you're interested, you can hit us at the tippingpointshow.com, the tippingpointshow@gmail.com, all that good stuff, folks. Either way, we're gonna see you next week, brother Crypto Kenny. Appreciate you.
Yes, thank you for having me, y'all. Thank you for having me. And great topic today. I'm going to be interested in hearing a little bit more about what other people's opinions are on that.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, brother. All right. So, man, that's good stuff. We got next up, folks. It is the Stock Spotlight with Leonard Walker, and what he did for us today. I'm still gonna give him his music. Is he sent us in a video because he is, you know, what Leonard does, which is powerful, is he takes a lot of the young men in his family around on the weekend to do different things, and so it's so powerful. Being able to have, you know, kids that don't have that father figure as much, and he's such a great guy that he brings, you know, just so much information, and these kids get to grow up learning some stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and let's see. We're gonna bring them in on here. Let's see. All right. And next up, folks, it is the Stock Spotlight with brother Leonard Walker.
How much of Dr. King's dream has been realized? That is the question. My name is Leonard Walker, and here's my commentary on answering that question. August 28th, 2023 will be the 60th year anniversary of the I Have a Dream speech by Dr. King. In answering that question, I asked myself, let's analyze the speech itself. The speech was a call to arms, a call to action, all right, for not just all those who are in attendance, but for all of America, for all kind. Dr. King admitted that this would be the greatest, to go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of the world. And that part of it is actually true. I believe that we are treating this just as the greatest demonstration of freedom, because we are now experiencing freedom in ways that Dr. King probably would not have ever imagined. When we think about all of the accomplishments and all of the things and the progress that we've made. But progress is a funny thing because progress is also measured. It's also ongoing. Progress is something that is continuous. So when we ask ourselves, has the dream been realized? Has this dream been achieved? In some areas we can say yes. In other areas we can say we still have a ways to go. I Have a Dream was actually a rallying cry when he was saying, I have a dream in his speech. It was a rallying cry for a better, more equitable future for all. That's what I believe anyway. And you may agree, you may not agree, but that's how I see it. As he was saying, I have a dream that one day the former sons of slave owners and the former sons of slaves will walk in the hand, will join hands in the hands of brotherhood, and I'm just paraphrasing. But my point is that right there was his vision, or was actually, like I said, a rallying cry, which a rallying cry ended up being a challenge. Okay, this was a challenge to America to make this dream come to fruition and come to reality. So I will end this with the question, all right, what have we done to make Dr. King's dream come to fruition? See, no one man, although Dr. King made a great difference, Dr. King was a spark, all right? He sparked the flame, but what have we done? And when I say we, I mean all of us, all of America, all of the world. What have we done to keep that spark, to turn that spark into a flame, into a blazing flame, a flame of freedom and equality and social and economic justice? What have we done to keep that flame blazing? So that is the question that we have to ask ourselves. And that is the ongoing question that we must keep asking ourselves as we look into the future and we see that the problems we still face and we see that the issues that we still face, even though some things may have been eradicated, because in Dr. King's day, that was a different time and it was a different place and it was a different era which had different problems. We have new problems now. So this is why this is an ongoing process as far as keeping the flames of freedom, equality, and social justice and economic justice blazing. And with that said, I bid you good day.
So that was Leonard Walker's take on the question that we have. And I believe I have another video from him concerning the actual stock spotlight. But he wanted to make sure. Now, I want to let everybody know that after this, at 11 o'clock, you can jump on and join the conversation as well with Truth Be Told. All right. We will be broadcasting there as well. And we're going to further this conversation about the dream also.
I hear echo.
Yes. Working on that as well. So, with that in mind, folks, then let me see if I've got this right here from Brother Leonard. Let's see. Let's look at a couple comments here. Without answering the question, we're definitely still asleep. Let's see here. They can tell just by looking at the applicant's name. Let me see. What was that about? Let's see here. And Dr. King helped us lose all our shit. And there's I'm not mad at that right there. Because that definitely is one of the things that has been said. Let me check this video here and see if this is the stock spot.
Good morning, family. Welcome to the Tipping Point Morning Show Stock Spotlight. I am your host, Leonard Walker, with your stock tip for today. Just so you guys know, I am a retired individual. I am not a stock professional. I do not work for Wall Street or for an investment company. What I do is I invest myself and I share my knowledge or what I'm doing with my stock portfolio with those who are interested to know or interested to learn about stocks. Make all financial decisions yourself, do your own due diligence, and look at your own family circumstances, because I am not providing stock or financial advice. This is just what I do, and I would like to share this with you. With that being said, let's get at it. I have, right now, the stock market is kind of been on a surge here lately. If you've looked at your portfolio, then your portfolio is like my portfolio. Things have been kind of going up a little bit. I don't know if we've seen the bottom yet. Until inflation gets under control, I'm not going to trust it. Stock experts saying, that some say there's worse, it's going to get worse. Some saying it may be getting better. Right now, like I said, is the key indicator for that is inflation. Once inflation gets under control, then maybe we might see some changes. Right now, there's still numbers of layoffs and different things for different companies. So that's always an indicator that the markets are still, kind of down. But being that it's a down market, that's not a bad thing. That's a good time to buy stocks. This is when more millionaires are made, is when the market is down and when stocks are undervalued. And right now, I have an undervalued stock that I want to share with you. All right, the name of the stock is called City Office REIT Incorporated. City Office REIT Incorporated. The ticker symbol is CIO. That is Charlie India Oscar, for those that know the phonetic alphabet for military. They're trading on the New York Stock Exchange. Right now, it's going for, here's a stock under $10. Guys, it's $9.29 as of the making of this video. It has a dividend per 80-cent dividend per year per share. And pays a quarterly dividend of 20 cents per share per quarter. It has a dividend yield of 8.79% with a BVPS, which is book value per share of $20.75. That means this is a undervalued stock right now for what it's going. As a matter of fact, it's almost double for what the market says it should be going for. 52-week high was $20.23. The 52-week low was $7.96. That means that this stock is still around the low range, so you can get it for a discount. The company was founded in 2013. Been paying a dividend since 2014. And what is this company? This company invests in high-end office properties in cities with strong economies in the southern, and western parts of the United States. So cities like Dallas, Denver, Raleigh, North Carolina, with places with strong economies and high-end office space. That's what this company invests in. But like I said, so let's get back to that. We're going to get back quickly to that dividend per what they pay for dividend per year and dividend per quarter. Remember, we want a dollar cost average. So at $9, less than $10, you can buy a lot of these stocks, and over time, reinvesting them will get you a pretty good share. It's like I said, dividend yield is 8.79%. This is something, as the economy does well or does better, this is a stock that could actually do better. So something to look out for. If you don't want to invest in it right now, just put it in your watch list. Check it out. Make sure it's doing what you want to do, and then you can always decide to do something later. All right, that's my time. Peace, family.
All right. Man, so some good information there. And it's kind of interesting because it ties into a bit of what our other brother Crypto Kenny was talking about, which is being able to buy stuff on sale yet again. So there's nothing wrong with that, folks. This is a chance to do that. And I tell you what, it's good information. Leonard has given us a lot of good information throughout the months on some stocks, things for you to look up and research yourself. Like I said, he's not a financial advisor. He's just a retired brother who loves stocks and has done well with this. So he just shares his information with us. And with that being said, folks, we are going to go ahead and jump to commercial real quick. I don't want anybody to go anywhere, okay? Because next up, we have a brother. He's sitting backstage waiting to come up. And this brother, the first African-American cognac producer, as well as the first African-American cognac producer in France. And that's somewhat by happenstance, but I'm going to let him explain that to you as to how he received both those titles nonetheless. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Again, it is the Tipping Point Morning Show.
Hey folks, check out healthdaddywow.net. 100% plant-based herbs and supplements. Whether you're in person or online, use the word tipping for 10% off. Remember, feel better, look great, healthdaddywow.net. Remember, healthdaddywow.net.
Habibi Trading Company, home of soap, sticks, and Saya Baba products. Over 400 locations at a store near you. Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky, Southern Indiana, or find yours online at sayababa.com. Again, that's sayababa.com. Habibi Trading Company, where you can find fragrances to incite your senses.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeah. You ready? Streaming live all over social media and on your favorite music and podcast streaming platforms.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Also, check out thetippingpointshow.com. The Tipping Point Show.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you guys kidding me?
All right. Good stuff, folks. We're back. I definitely want to reiterate that share button. Hit the share button. Hit the like button. We're streaming live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can look us up, The Tipping Point Show or The Tipping Point Morning Show on either platform. And just hit that share button, hit that live button or the like button on any of those platforms, folks. We don't have to wait to a special day to support each other and people that look like you or anyone, your local business owners or what have you. Guess what? You can do it every day, and it's as simple as hitting the share button, hitting the like button. That's one thing you can do for every person who you claim to support. All right? So do that for us. We appreciate, folks. And right now to the stage, folks, we're going to go ahead and bring this brother. I tell you what, man, it's an exciting show because he's got a lot to offer, a lot of information, and we want to bring him to the stage, man, and and have a good conversation about what he does, how he got to where he got to, and all that good stuff. Brother Norvel, and if you can help me enunciate the last name properly, brother, I would actually appreciate it.
Lassere.
Lassere. Okay. All right. Good stuff. Now, welcome to the Tipping Point Morning Show, family. And you hail out of where are you coming from?
I'm out of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. He's got that New Orleans swagger, and good stuff there. Man, so first off, give us a little background on yourself, name of your company, and what you do, and then we can take it from there.
Okay, my name Norvel Lasserre. You want a little background, or you just want a little introduction?
Yeah, I mean, a little introduction.
All right. Well, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a salesperson. I'm an entrepreneur. Just by blood, man. So I guess we'll get into a little bit later how I got involved with this particular product and how I, became the first African American cognac producer. But me, man, I come from very very humble beginning. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate everything, man. I know what it is to be down and out broke. I know what it is to have money, lose it, get it back. So what I've experienced in life, man, would probably kill some people, man. I'd have been through it all, man. Some people might not survive the things that I've survived in life. Let me put it that way. But I'm very humble, man, and I'm trying to open some doors for us because I see the bigger picture.
Absolutely.
Awesome, brother. Listen, I read a piece of your story, man. Welcome to the show. Definitely, I was impressed with how you started. Give us a quick synopsis on where you are now and how you got here with being the producer of your own cognac brand.
Okay. You want to start with the latter or beginning?
I love the story of you, how you end up in France. Where you first started was studying. I was really impressed with you first start studying import export, and then how you ended up in France and came across the ideal to create your brand.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. It's a real good brother, man, named Reginald Harley. He works for the Small Business Administration in New Orleans, and he was actually the person that gave me my first business loan years ago. Mm. And we just developed a friendship, man. I used to always come bring people to him, because I'm always about trying to help people get funded and stuff like that. A lot of people need their first start, and it's different type of loans and stuff like that. But he gave me like a little small loan that helped me get my start, not in this particular business, but in the first business that I started years ago.
What was your first business?
It was the entertainment business. I was trying to do a record label, but it just didn't pan out, man. A lot of these young people don't listen, so trying to keep them out off that scene that's gonna get them in trouble, man, was a big challenge. And then my situation coming home after doing 11 years, man, in prison, man, but was I had to keep keep myself together as well, so I couldn't be running with people that was doing a lot of things that they shouldn't have been doing. So it just didn't work out. So I went from there to various I'm gonna say careers, so I've always knew law. Was on the inside I was a master at criminal law, and that yeah, that
It,
helped me get a job at a law firm when I came home with Jerry Broussard Baloney. This was an all black female law firm. Beautiful ladies, Jerry Baloney, man, very good friend. We still good friends today. And her daughters. And man, all of them was beautiful, man. Just it was like, so intimidating working in that place, man. But we became good friends. So that was one particular, and actually law has become the foundation of my company that I'm building today. Knowing law, man, makes you powerful. It makes you a force to be reckoned with, man, when you can read your own contracts, where you could draft up your own legal documents. If somebody getting out of line, you can hit them with a tort claim or file, a cause of action against them, and you don't need no, advice about nothing. I used to advise the attorneys, and about trial prep and and strategy and stuff like that, because that's how my mind works. Uh, man, and she gave me my first start. Then I went on to, she encouraged me to go to Tulane University to
now,
further my education.
real quick, I chuckled when you started talking about stuff because the story is familiar to another brother of mine who was in prison, learned law, and got out and began working with some attorneys and such like that.
Mm.
Have you ever heard that story before, John? So just familiar with respect to that. So when I'm hearing that right off the bat, first thing that comes to mind is that I've always said that you go to prison, there's a 50-50 chance you're gonna either go this way or go that way.
True.
And it sounds like, just like some other great stories I've heard, that you took that time to get your mind right, to move in a different direction. Was there any type of mindset that you had when you were in prison? Were you thinking about business when you were in prison, or were you just in there doing the time and saying, hey, when I get out, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do? Or were you getting your mind right while you were in there?
Well, I was definitely getting my mind right on the inside. I stayed in the law library, so good friend of mine, man, God rest his dead, man, Douglas Jones, brought me into the law library, actually helped me get a job in working in the law library as an inmate counselor. And man, that opened my mind up to so many different avenues, So, basically what he said was, Doug was like he was a awesome, he was a force, bro. Doug can get you, man, he sent so many brothers home, you know, more than you got had, the more the strings ahead, you got, that's how many brothers Doug and sent people home. But I used to ask him, I said, man, once me and him started out playing chess, we became friends and we got real cool. And then I was like, man, I found out he do law. It was like, man, why don't you work on my case, man? He said, like, man, I got a rule. He said, man, anybody that's intelligent as you are and that, that's capable of doing the work themselves, he said, I don't do it. I can show you how to do it yourself. And that's what he did. He brought me into the law library. And he said, man, the answer to you getting out of here is in one of these books. So you just got to find it. I'm going to show you how to utilize the law library to your full potential. So he educated me about, research, how to shepherdize, how to cross-reference, how to understand, how to narrow down the issue to whatever, whatever statute or whatever, case law that you need to find to deal with just that, instead of going over all you can kind of like, take a shortcut and get to where you're trying to go. So he showed me how to navigate through the law library and, and research and how to apply law, how to find the loopholes,
So
and
so
me being,
how did that help you with you digging into that? How did that help you as far as you got out, you got into working for a law firm, but then you said that law is kind of the basis of your business today. How did that help you move forward to get to where you are today?
man, if you think about it, everything we do is like you learning the skill, right? You know, like you might not even think about it, right? You might not even think like this. You know, you just go and work at a job and you go and get, a paycheck. You know, that's basically what that's everybody's mindset. Oh, if you're going to do a business, you for whatever reason you're gonna start that business, you're gonna learn skills along the way. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So like, working as, with law firms, and I work for several of them, So what I've learned through that is that is the foundation. The business that y'all guys have, the business that everybody have. Law pretty much regulates a lot of our businesses. Say
Mm-hmm.
regulates my product. This is spirit. So it's regulations, it's laws and stuff that govern us. Even though some of the stuff I don't agree with, and we can always challenge any law. So that stuff. Not just working at the law firm. I done did insurance. I had over 400 clients of people I used to go and collect. And it was in the same neighborhood where, I used to be selling them the wrong product in. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people didn't look at me, in a positive way at first. They didn't look at me in a positive, oh, that's the dude that, come from back in the
Yep.
days who used to be running the streets around here. So but once they got to know me, you know what I'm saying? And
The new you.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And they started inviting me in, offering me stuff to eat and drink and stuff like that. And I learned, the different personality. You don't turn nothing down because people look at you kind of funny, man. They're like, oh, you don't want to eat for me or drink from stuff like that. So all these became skills, man, people skills I learned from that career. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I was always just passing through. I mean, I knew I'm have my own business one day. And this was years before the cognac, before the everything, before the real
Mm-hmm.
estate, everything. So all that becomes skills. Everything you've done in your life, you've learned skills. All right. Even speaking skills, say everything what y'all
Yep.
brothers doing right now, say y'all done something in the past where y'all learned those skills. You know what I'm saying? And you learn those skills along the way. And once you, obtain all those skills, once you start your business, all right, that's how you become successful. You know what I'm saying? All successful business owners know that you have to build the business owner before you build the business.
Let me ask you a question.
Absolutely.
I want to dig into that product you have and how this developed for you. When I definitely want to ask questions dealing with are you distributing the products here in the United States? Do you have a co-packer that's doing it? And do you have are you in regular liquor stores or just online? Break that down for us.
All right. I actually own 50% of Lassere International, which is a manufacturing company, storehouse in France. Uh, that is the manufacturer. That company produces this brand, and it handles the all the production and packaging. Uh, that company exports to my supply company, which is a U.S. company. My supply company is my name, Norvel Lasserre.
Mhm.
That's the DBA. So you look on the back of this, you see, produced by Lassere International, but imported by Norvel Lasserre.
Okay.
So I own 50% of Lassere International, and I own 95% of uh, the supply company. So the supply company imports from the manufacturing company, and then we sell to independent distributors
Okay.
across the United States.
Got you.
Those independent distributors sell to all the retail spots. We in the biggest retailer that we in is Walmart.
Mm.
We in Total Wines in Louisiana, and we growing. We growing. We in about 6 to 10 states across the U.S. Now online, they can get it in 48 states. It's available online. Uh, Working on Canada, South Africa, Australia, and Central and uh,
Central America.
Central America and also South America.
Gotcha.
Right. That's interesting because I mean, you know, as an importer, I understand definitely what you're talking about when you're speaking about learning law. Law gives you the ability to not only understand contracts, because that's some of the things people fear. It's like importing products, and a lot of people don't know how easy that is to do. But it's a simple part of just studying how to get products into this country. It's really not difficult. A lot of times we block ourselves by thinking it's difficult, so we don't go in that area. I definitely commend you in that field. Remarkable story about you going to France and then hooking that up. Well, tell me something. What was that like? And then, you know, and I could tell the prison swag on you. I could tell you come from a definitely a condition to where you definitely build yourself up and have a great story to tell. I always say this. I say that, you know, for the most part, hard times create strong people, and easy time
Yeah.
creates soft people. And so you definitely have the ability, and you went through everything that you need to go through to achieve that goal. But let me ask you, I know for a fact that you as an individual had a lot of obstacles to get to where you are now. And you didn't give up on those obstacles. I know you had them. I know for a fact that you went through some serious obstacles. What
Oh
made
yeah.
your character so strong that you saw yourself not allowing those obstacles stop you from getting to where you are now?
Oh man, there was so many. You know, I mean, it's things that you would never even, you'll never even fathom, man. You never expect. You know, it's like, I mean, but the obstacles exist. I mean,
Yeah.
once it's more like distractions.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? The obstacles are what we face today. And what we've been facing, especially in this industry, every industry really. Controlling the distribution is the main thing.
Mm.
We don't control it. You see what I'm saying? So those are the gatekeepers. If 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 black folks would understand the the chain of command to business, they would see that the distribution company, that's who make all the money. You know what I'm saying? And we don't control that. So uh in a business like I'm in, that's highly regulated, and because of the three-tier system that was created back in the 1930s, right after prohibition, uh, it's challenging for black owners of spirits. Uh, and
Do you find that a deterrent to you, or do you find that a motivating factor to push and move forward harder?
oh, I take it as a challenge, man. I like, all right, I'm gonna show you. You ain't gonna stop. We gonna find a way to win. I don't play, man. It's like what they gonna do is, you know, if they don't try to knock us down, they're gonna create their own competition, man. Because right now I'm in the process of establishing a national liquor distribution franchise.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Where we can I've actually done it. I've helped investors get set up with their own independent distribution company that knew nothing about spirits, knew nothing about distribution, went in and trained and developed them, kind of like just coach them through the process. It's not that expensive to put together.
Mm.
Just depends on what state you're in, you know. But
Well,
you have to understand we up here. Right? You got the three-tier system, so we tier one. Where tier one is manufacturer, supplier, importer.
mm-hmm.
All right. Then tier two is wholesale liquor distribution company. That could be a national company, or it could be a independent, local, statewide company. All
Mm-hmm.
right. But the national companies, your Southern Glacier and your RNDC, Republic, National, those are the companies that have all the accounts across the United States. Where y'all at everywhere. They got all the accounts, so they control who get in and who doesn't get in. You know, that's the challenge. You know,
Yeah.
so a lot of black brands are not represented by those companies. Now they'll pick and choose some brands to represent so to keep the, you know, keep the cheat off them. A lot of people say, you know, they don't represent black brands or they don't represent black folks because, you know, it's you know, race involved. I believe race plays a part in it. But to be honest with y'all, man, think about business in general, man. You know, I studied billionaires and I look at how other industries and other companies started. You know, you look at McDonald's. Ray Kroc went to the McDonald brothers back when they only had like 1 or 2 locations in California. And his vision for McDonald's was, I want to take this, you know, national and then international. All right. They didn't know the vision that Ray Kroc had. They sold for a couple of $1 million, man. And, you know, that man made that company a multi-billion-dollar company, 25,000 locations worldwide. All right. But if you look at it, look at the challenge that he had because he was going up against Burger King and it was like, whoa. You know, so every company is trying to crush the competition, but you know, that's business. It's nothing personal, man. I'm trying to destroy the competition, this and that and that and this. And to me, and you look at this product is direct competition to a lot of the brands that these companies represent. They know if this brand here get out there, man, that might be the end of Hennessy. That might be the end of some of these brands that they've been representing for years. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, that plays a bigger part into it. So we can't just assume it's all about race. Man, we are brilliant. We are brilliant people, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're afraid of us. You know, they're afraid that if they give us a little help, that we're gonna dominate. And we will.
And we will. We definitely
will. I'm telling you, I mean, I get it. I don't understand, but guess what? If we ever get our foot in that door,
yeah.
My mindset is, man, we need some color at the top. You know what I'm saying? They got the top 5, top 10 billionaires on Forbes and stuff. Man, ain't no blacks up there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not content with being down to 4 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion. I'm trying to get up to them hundreds, man, with the other folks at the top.
Let me ask you, what is the valuation of your company now, and where do you see it in 5 years from now? And is there any room for investments or investors to invest?
Yeah, we have the $10 million valuation right now. That's just the supply company.
Okay.
The manufacturing company, we would have probably it would probably be 5 times what it is right now. So about, you know, anywhere from 30 to 50. And I would have to get with Seba on that. Because that company sells more than just this brand.
Correct.
You know, so we sell bulk spirits. So like right now, the companies I'm telling you that don't want to represent this brand, but they want brands like you know, they're reaching out for a Cabernet wine from Bordeaux. You know, so a lot of if you notice, like you go to a lot of restaurants and a lot of places like Sam's Club, they don't have a lot of French wines. You notice that?
Yeah, it's mostly Cali.
Yeah, California wines or Italian wines.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's the bulk. And then they got a few other wines from other places and stuff like that. But as far as French wine, you might see 1 or 2 on a list. So they don't have a lot. All right. One of the guys know that, you know, I sell bulk spirits, you know, and do private labeling and all that in France. So, you know, I sell a lot of other stuff that people don't even know I sell, but they wanted a Cabernet wine. So we, you know, my business partner contact some of his contacts in Bordeaux. So we found one that was willing to do private label, you know, that we can set up. You know, you just make a commission. I just put a 20% markup on it. So think about, they wanted 35,000 cases or 12. You know, which was gonna cost like about, you know, close to 3.6 million. That's one deal, one transaction. And on that deal, you know, I would probably make about $600,000-$700,000 on that one transaction.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
see
we're
what I'm
talking
saying? So
20% right there. So
yeah, yeah.
good. No, and I hear you, man. You dope with the numbers. I'm hearing it come out, and I love that.
I'm a numbers guy.
So
I'm a numbers guy.
and you mentioned your partner, CB Hartman,
Hmm.
and that's a French brother, right? I mean
He's
a
from
French.
Holland, Amsterdam. He lives in France in Cognac,
Okay.
but he's from Holland, Amsterdam,
Now,
mostly like German,
I love
Dutch.
the story because what I noticed in your story, um, looking on the site, searching for your roots, you were searching for a product to import export. You had decided that import export was going to be something that you wanted to get into. You searching for a product and you found a wine that had your last name, which then
Right.
pushed you towards searching for your roots, only to find out that your fifth generation great grandfather, uh, Blaise Lasserre,
Blaze.
was from France.
Right.
So I find that to be so interesting, and then to move into to governing a business, finding out how to put this whole thing together. It says here when you sat down with your now business partner, CB Hartman's from France, he mentioned that he could help create a cognac drink, and your reply to him was, "Let's make it happen, baby."
Yeah. Man,
you
look.
gave him that Nolan's look, like, let's make it happen, baby.
Yeah. Man, look, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. You would never believe that you can connect with a white person, you know what I'm saying, on that level to
Mm,
become partners until you go out of town, till you go out the
mm.
country.
Go out the country.
You know,
Because people
because
think differently out because US is built on a big dose of propaganda,
yeah,
and it has us thinking, if you get caught in that, it has us thinking so many things that are not truly correct about other countries, and a lot of things about ourselves and about people that are around us, until you get out the country. Then you find out, well, shoot, when you looking on the news and you seeing those people over there fighting to make sure that their government stays in check as to how they treat them, they ain't thinking about race. They thinking about just focusing on a good quality life, and how we connect to each other in the universe, you know. Uh,
right.
so
I
it's
had to
just kind of
remind them.
interesting. Mm-hmm.
I had to remind. Well, he introduced me to, you know, I mean, you know, we have partnerships, you know, with the distilleries, partnerships with the bottling companies, partnerships with so many different companies that help us
Mm-hmm.
put everything together, like all the tops, the labeling, the graphic design. So we have a team.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to remind all of them that I'm a black man in America. You know, and it was like, oh man, we didn't even think about that. You know what I'm saying? Because you
Uh-huh.
know what I'm saying?
They
You
ain't
know, they
moving
were
on that.
telling
They ain't
me,
not moving on that timeline.
right, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, they saying, man, I know you're gonna accomplish this, man. I'm excited, I'm doing this. And I'm saying, y'all know I'm a black man in America. You know things, you know, it's gonna be a little harder than what y'all try to make it seem to be. You know, and it was, man. I mean, it was crazy, man. Like dealing with the TTB. I'm gonna just give y'all a mind shocker, man. Dealing with the TTB, right?
Now, what's the TTB for those that don't know?
TTB is the Federal Alcohol Tobacco Control. The
Okay.
federal, all right. So I got a
Mm-hmm.
federal license to sell, you know, spirits nationwide, and you know that's gonna be with me forever. But all right, we had to get this formulation approved for this drink, right? You know, so cognac is already imported. They already have all of the data about cognac. You know what I'm saying? But still, for some reason, they wanted me to produce even more data about the cognac and everything that I have inside my drink, right? You know, so all the ingredients, the FDA approvals, I submitted everything, right? all that, so it still wasn't enough because it came from me. They listen. I'm talking to the guy over the phone, and he hearing me. I know I don't sound like a white person. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, man, it's just a challenge. So everything I was telling him was like all the FDA approvals and stuff. I sent you everything. You said, man, we need this or we need that, and we need something else. And I'm saying to myself, man, all right, let me call my partner in frame. Now, be mindful, the supply company is the one that's dealing with TTB.
Okay.
All right. But because he couldn't, he wouldn't accept this information from me, I called my partner. So my partner called. All right. He listening to that French accent. Just like that. Got approved.
Wow.
This
Like
part here,
that.
you mentioned getting licensed and everything. Was there obstacles? And I don't want to get into your prison situation, whether or not you come out clean, where you were exonerated from the crime. But as a convicted felon, was it difficult for you to get that license?
Nah, because when I got out, I actually got out I got myself out.
Through
So
technicalities. Gotcha.
yeah, I gave back a lot of time.
Yeah.
So when I got out, I had no paper.
You didn't have nothing. Gotcha.
I wasn't on no parole or nothing.
Parole, right, right. You had
and that goes back to that law, right? The law that you studied that helped you.
Yeah.
Right. What you did was you had that crime reversed.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. Yeah. The conviction reversed. So that made you a clean slate, clean record.
No. I didn't reverse the conviction. I reversed the sentence.
The sentence. Okay. So you were still labeled as a convicted felon though. Right?
Yeah, but after 10 years, man, it goes away. You know what
Correct.
I'm saying?
Okay.
So I came home in 05, and when I decided to get into the liquor business, that was like in 2014.
Gotcha.
So that's like so many years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what's interesting about that is that there's something else that kind of led you into creating some funds to help you start this business. And we're going to get into that next week as well, because we're going to bring on Dorothy Connor and talk about the real estate liens. Now, that's a business, tax liens. We're going to talk about that next week, which I'm excited about that as well. But you kind of took some time to learn about that and utilize that genre of business to create funding for you to do what you're doing now. Is that correct?
Correct. In 2008, 2007, 2008, I was trying to do it the traditional way, using bank money and stuff like that. And then when the crash happened in 08, I couldn't rent the properties. I couldn't sell them. I wound up having to foot the bill every month, and it depleted my capital. So I went broke, man. And then I started, just hustling, making a little money and stuff like that. I was buying these properties in New Orleans for like $500. It was called adjudicated properties. Adjudicated properties is basically just tax deeds. So I buy like 500, sell them for like 12,000. And I just kept doing that over and over. And back then it was awesome, man. The adjudicated properties wasn't, see, like today this online, it's a bid up sale. The highest bidder wins. But back then when I started, it was just you cherry pick off the list. You see some properties you want, you tell the law firm that was overseeing that list, look, I want this property, that property, this property. And you get to buy all the properties without any resistance from anybody else. But it's a little different than today. And today's, you gotta, it goes to the highest bidder. You gotta bid against this one bid, you gotta get in these bidding wars. But back then, man, it was so relaxed. You was able to make a lot of money in real estate, man, off the tax deeds in Louisiana. Now you can still make a good bit of money, but you just have to wait the redemption period down here. as far as you be buying tax liens, But I made my money with that, and that's how I was actually able to invest into international trade.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So one more question. Basically, is your company accepting or in those who want to invest into your company and get a share of it?
Yeah, you have a minimum of 1 million shares at a penny par value, which is about 10,000. You have to be an accredited investor, and we'll go over all the specifics and stuff if anybody's interested. But there's a need.
I think you created some interest right here, which is why the question's out there, brother. So
yeah,
definitely.
But I'm gonna tell y'all, it's a bigger need. I mean, we gonna do we doing our thing. We gonna make it happen, bro. But it's a bigger need for distribution companies.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we don't control the market. So like if y'all, I can create anybody that want a brand, you want to own your own brand, I can create it. I can make it for you, and you will own your own brand. All right, but you got a brand, and you're like, all right, boom, the law says that you can't sell direct to consumer. The 3-tier system law works like this. Yeah, tier 1 has to sell to tier 2. Tier 2 has to sell to tier 3. I'm tier 1. I have to sell to the wholesale liquor distribution companies, and I need the national companies to get on board. But the national companies, for whatever reason, are not ready to do business with us like that. So that means that I'm blocked from the whole entire United States. So they're forcing me to, all right, I got to set up right here in Louisiana. I got Texas. I got to go one by one, state by state, and expand my product. Which I sell to them, it's all over the
everywhere.
United States. And overnight, my shit everywhere.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But they put us in a position where now we got to go build. I got to deal with this independent distributor, that independent distributor. I get this one. Like we just got Maryland and DC. We got some other states, Indiana, Chicago, Illinois.
I feel like what you've been through thus far, as John talks about building character, it kind of sets you up to be built to go ahead, and if they push you to piece by piece build your own distribution chain, then that's what you have to do. Because I'm looking at a lot of your pictures and stuff out there on social media, and you out there, man. You out there.
Oh, yeah.
You table set up, venue by venue, event by event. You're out. I mean, I seen pictures. Lassere had your stuff in her hands, and a few other people, celebrities, is messing with you. So it seems like what you went through thus far created such a character that you gonna push and persevere whether they rock with you or not, and you're gonna carve your own space out of this. But is building that chain of distribution, is that kind of the move right now, like what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why. It's all right. I'm gonna tell you, man. We pull this off, man. This is gonna be one of the most powerful moves, bro, that ever been done in our community. I'm gonna tell you why. All right. If we able to get the 10 biggest states first, all right, then from there we expand across the whole United States. Now we control another distribution channel. All right, they got one, they're coming through like from the international aspect. All right, so think about all of the big companies, the big brands out there that do not have distribution in the United States. All right, these brands are not concerned about our color. These owners of these brands, they're not worrying about. They're not even looking at us as black folks. They're looking at us as folks, as a man. They're looking at you as an individual, a business person, right? they don't have distribution because you got companies like Louis Royal, Bosch, and so many different big companies that have brands that they sell in Norway and Switzerland and Germany and in Europe, and these companies making in between 50 and 100 million a year. All right, but they do not have distribution in the U.S. The U.S. is the biggest market. Everybody wants distribution here, but you got companies like Hennessy and other big companies that are spending hundreds of millions of marketing dollars to keep their competitors out of the market. So because they're giving this money to Southern Glacier and RNDC not going to represent all these other brands that's competing with the brands that's giving them the money.
That's right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, like I say, it's not always about race. Yeah. Race plays a major part of it, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? They scared of us, and that's the only reason I'm saying they're not. Like race is an issue because they don't like us. No, they're afraid of us, bro. Because we show up, we dominate stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They know once they open that door and they give us some leeway, we're gonna become a threat to a lot of stuff that they represent.
But the old money that they've built through the years. Now, John, you got a question that you want to ask them real quick, right?
No, I would just want to know before you leave, what are your opinions on where we are today from where we? Matter of fact, first, how old are you?
I'm 50.
50, gotcha. So where we are today from where we came from during the Martin Luther King era, what do you see?
Oh, man, my opinion on that, man. It may affect the way some people view me, but I gotta be me, man. I gotta be real. I think what Martin Luther King was trying to do, he had the right mindset, he had the right intentions, but what he actually did was destroy the black businesses in the world. And I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about, because if you go back to the 60s or a little bit further than that, you look at businesses was just growing. Like, just think about McDonald's was just two locations in California. In those times, it might have been a little earlier than that, but guess what? Man, McDonald's all over the world like they got right now. So imagine all the black businesses and the white businesses was like right here. It was all right here. Maybe the white business might have been a little bit more stronger than ours back then, but we still had black businesses, black hotels, black restaurants. We had black bars. We had black stores. So we had everything. Back then, before integration, before everything became, all right, they letting us in. And if you look at you fast forward, all of the white businesses became conglomerates. You know what I'm saying? It became like Fortune 500 companies from where they was back then to where they at now. And the black business would have been moving in the same direction. So we would have big conglomerates too. But when whatever, and I don't think it was intentional, man. He had good intentions. He was trying to get our equality. But what he actually did was, once everything became like, oh, now we can go spend money with these white businesses. So everybody took all the dollars away from our businesses and everybody felt like it was better to go spend their money with these businesses. But they made these businesses multi-billion dollar, if not $1 trillion companies over them years. So that's 50. Well, that's 50 plus another 22. That's over 70 years, 75 years. Them businesses became conglomerates. All the businesses that we took our dollars to go to support.
Yep. And it's interesting, and and I don't. Well, I tell you what, I'll bring that up here in a second. But it's interesting, that you say that, because a lot of, for instance, I went to probably 2020. I went to Jackson, Mississippi for what is that holiday? Fourth of July holiday. I went down to Jackson, Mississippi with a partner of mine. He took me around. That's where he's from. He showed me a lot of different businesses and and well, he showed me where there used to be lots of melanated community owned businesses. But what I noticed is out there in the rural areas, and because you really can't talk race, because what we talk about in urban areas is just a lack of land, in general. But out there in them urban in the rural areas, man, it was a whole lot of us that owned a whole lot of land, like lots and lots of land, more than I've ever seen melanated communities own. But they did it by selling out a lot of their businesses in order to get there. And with that said, I want to bring on, and I want to say, do you want to stay on for this next part of the conversation as we talk about this? Have we achieved the dream with MLK? And we got a little bit of time here. We're gonna tackle that topic. You want to stay on for that?
Yeah, I could stay on for it.
Okay.
I mean,
absolutely. John, you cool with that?
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, cool. All right, so good stuff. I want to read a couple comments, and then I want to introduce our next guest here. Hey, everything is possible for our people. Knowing how to navigate is key. Thanks for being an example on this MLK anniversary. All right, shout out to Satya there. Let's see. We got a couple other. Yes, build the distribution. We need it. You're right there. You are at the tipping point. I see greatness in you. Hey, you need a revolutionary white guy to trade places with you. That's a good one there. I'm sure you use your partner for that sometimes.
I do.
He says he was tricked and derailed. Integration was not his original focus. I definitely agree with that on MLK. He started out with separate but equal. And somebody threw a monkey wrench in there somewhere. I don't know who it was, whether it was Jesse Jackson or Bill Cosby. But somebody threw a monkey wrench in there, had him thinking, because I firmly believe that at that day and time, desegregation was the worst thing to happen to the melanated folk in America at that time. It's hard to really talk about it because we could be somewhere different right now. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be here right now. I don't know. But I feel like desegregation was an issue at the time. Hey, Hamara says it was Kennedy. It was Kennedy's fault. Hey, we digging deep, jumping in a rabbit hole with that conversation right there. But without further ado, I want to bring to the stage Dr. Jessica B. Smith. Sis, welcome to the Tipping Point Morning Show. How you doing? Let's see.
You got no sound.
You got no sound. And you may have to try going out and coming back in because you may have to authorize some sound as you come. I'm not sure, but I didn't see the mute. So she'll be back here in a second, and she is a doctor, has a doctorate in educational studies. So we definitely want to further this conversation with her for a little bit here. When we talk about this stuff, man, where is your, Norvel, where is your, what's your end game?
My end game?
Yeah.
Is pretty much to build a legacy, man. I mean, build something that's going to be around 100 years after I'm gone. So I mean, a lot of times most people build companies, and the end game, the exit strategy is always to sell to a bigger company. I mean, if that happens and they come with the right number, that can happen. But the people be like, well, why would you sell your brand? Because I'm creative. I can make another brand. We need the resources. All right. With those resources, and people say, well, man, why are you trying to get all this money? You can't take it with you. I ain't trying to take it with me. I'm trying to leave it behind. You see what I'm saying? So what legacy was left behind for us?
Right.
All right. And if you don't do it, your son gonna have to do it. One of your sons.
Right.
And if one of your sons don't have to do it, then one of your grandsons gonna have to do it. All right. And if so why not you? Why not me? Why not us? Why we could sacrifice a little fun time, man. Yeah, I like sports and all that stuff, but a lot of that stuff is distractions, man. It's distractions. You see everybody more concerned about who gonna win the Super Bowl when you gonna win your Super Bowl.
Man. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro, dog, man. It's not time for us to be playing out here. Now, some of us, we might not have those aspirations. All right. So if you want to go, enjoy your little time here. When you go, who gonna remember you? Nobody.
Right.
Because you just here for the experience. But for some people like us who here to actually establish something here, you know what I'm saying, to try to make this world better. We have to try to build a legacy, man. We have to do it.
And it's interesting when you say that, because a lot of people, some of the things that I've heard from people who kind of have that I'm just here mindset, or I'm just gonna work and come home and chill mindset, then a lot of those people really, they're speaking from fear. They say things like, I don't want to be, seriously wealthy, because, this is what happens to those people. They have to deal with this and they have to deal with that. So my question to that is, well, where is your sense of help and camaraderie to your family? Where's your sense of legacy? Where's your idea of generational wealth? When you leave, don't you want your kids to, have more or greater if when you're gone? Don't you want them to be able to have something that they can continue to pass down? I mean, when you look at, Bezos, I don't know if Bezos has kids or not, but, generations to come is going to be wealthy, right? They're going to be able to continue to create business, and the legacy is going to go on for years and years to come. And a lot of us as a people, we have a fear of creating wealth and doing better, because we, in a sense, I feel like have been dumbed down in this country to believe that we cannot achieve that.
That is the main issue. I think everyone wants wealth. I believe everyone is born to this world with a thought, if it's just a small thought, of asking, what's my purpose? Why am I here? Everyone, unless you are somehow seriously mental deficient, that you didn't ask the question, what's my purpose? Everyone is seeking for their purpose. The problem is that the ability to believe that it's achievable. If you do not believe that you can be a millionaire or that you can be wealthy, then it would never come to you. You may want it, but you have to believe that it's possible. And somehow we have been dumbed down and docile mind to not believe it. And so when you say, if I was to ask someone, how do you see yourself and how do you feel if you feel like you're a millionaire? And there's no feeling, because it's docile. We never practice the thought of what it's like becoming a millionaire, to not only before we even get to the thought of what it takes to become a millionaire. You have to first think it in order for you to realize what it's going to take to get there, right? We don't want to even think it, because it's a depressed type of mentality for most people to think that I'm going to be a millionaire, but yet I'm only going to set myself up for failure. So I'm not going to do that. I just think I just work this little normal job and just stay right here, because I'm afraid to believe more and then set myself up for failure. And that's the piece right there. Welcome. How you doing, Sister Jessica Smith? Can you on?
Yes, can y'all hear me?
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Good morning. Sorry about that. I was on my laptop. I had to switch to my phone, so
that's okay.
Sorry about that.
All good. Well, welcome to the Tipping Point Show, Dr. Jessica Smith. So, how does that sound as you have just achieved such great titling to you? Now, how's that feel?
Honestly, I'm just relieved. I'm the whole process was extremely stressful. And in some ways I'm still experiencing that stress and anxiety. So I'll be glad when that leaves, and then, maybe the doctor part will hit me. It'll be surreal. It's very intense work.
So what are you a doctor of?
So I have my doctorate's degree in educational leadership.
Okay.
Gotcha. So, all right. So the question today is, have we achieved the MLK dream yet? Okay. Have we achieved it? We talked with Brother Norvel, and I know you heard some of his story because you've been backstage listening. When it comes to that, then what's your thoughts, Dr. Smith, as to have we achieved that dream? Are you still there? Because you went blank.
We lose her.
I think she's coming back over here. Let's see here. We got. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right. There you go. Okay. So the question was, as you have, with your thoughts and everything, what is your thoughts when it comes to have we achieved that dream, that MLK dream?
Well, that's a complicated, because even Dr. King himself, right before his death, said that the dream had turned into a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
The question to me sounds like, have we experienced that nightmare? Are we still experiencing that nightmare? Or have we seen equality? And of course, the answer is no. We have not. And I think, Dr. King, some of the stuff you guys were saying was absolutely correct. I think he had intentions. I think that he realized that a lot of his optimism was unrealistic, and that he was set up, and people never had the intentions on doing some of the things that they told him they were going to do.
Absolutely. John, what do you think when you hear this? As a matter of fact, real quick, I've got a video, and you want me to play that video?
You talking about that video? Yeah, hold up for a second. Let me ask this question to Dr. Smith. When we're looking at where we are today, and I don't want to put this collectively, because when we put it collectively, it's kind of blinding. When we look at it collectively, but let's try to look at this individuals when we talk about opportunities, not mindsets, but opportunities. Have opportunity changed? In other words, back then, probably brand property, probably movement was probably difficult at times, even going down south. Or have we changed? Not dealing with mindset, but the environment of the opportunity. Has that changed? Has the playing field changed? Or are we talking about the same playing field back in the 50s and the 60s?
We absolutely do not have the same playing field as the 60s. Yeah, definitely do not. Opportunities have gotten better, but some of those issues that Dr. King and that they were seeing then still exist now. But I also think a lot of that comes from, like you said, when you're talking about mindset versus the collective. I think that a lot of that plays into where folks' mindset is. But yes, of course, we have more opportunities. I mean, than they did in the 50s and 60s. Absolutely.
So in other words, I guess here's where this is going. Okay, so we have poverty. We also have disenfranchised. We have schools. We have redlining. We have, let's say in Louisville, Kentucky, we got the West End. And so now we have this poverty environment. And most of our problems is inside this poverty environment: drugs, alcohol, violence, shootings. I can go on, right? In this poverty environment, mainly in the predominantly African American neighborhood. Now, is that environment harmful to the point to where everyone in the environment is stuck because of the environment itself? Or is there opportunity out there for the individual to get out of the environment? And if so, what is the problem with the individual inside of that perimeter of poverty? In other words, I guess I'm asking is this, because I don't want it to be a loaded question. Mm-hmm. Is poverty itself in that environment a held back, meaning that, whether we're talking redlining, whether we're talking the liquor stores, whether we're talking drugs, are those things the vices that's stopping us from collectively, majority, achieving out of that environment?
So here's my thing on that. Because you're talking to someone who comes from one of the roughest areas in Louisville. I think it's all about the person. It's unique to the person. So for me, it's like I have to get out of here. So I use it as I've got to get out of here. So this is what's driving me to do better. This is what's driving me to push myself. This is what's driving me to create a better opportunity for my family. So it is definitely possible. I definitely don't. I think that we need to do the work from within and then come out. I think that we need more people who are willing to come to places like the West End, come to places like Newburgh, the East End, whatever area, and to do the work. Come talk to the neighbors, come talk to the kids at the school. And I think a lot of times what I see is that a lot of people, they want to remove themselves from those folks. And what we have to realize is that we are still a collective. And in any way, what's going on in the West End can affect, a Black person who decided to move to the suburbs.
Got you. So, I guess part of the question here, as we get into this, Brother Norvel, you talked about how sure you can see where race can play a part, but it's nothing that you allow to hold you back. Right now, part of your company is valuated at 10 million. Another part of your company is valuated anywhere from 30 to 50 million. And you can talk about being locked up, being in prison, coming from humble beginnings to where you are now. You didn't allow the woes of, hey, we dealing with so much racism to hold you back. So, as we kind of, in a sense, I guess, wrap up, but what would be your thoughts to speak on how people can get themselves out of that woe is me mentality and into creativity and wealth?
All right. First, we can't mistake the fact that there are better opportunities today than it was way back then. We can't mistake that for help from the other side, for number one, because I'm telling y'all, we make the opportunities for ourselves, and that's what we have to continue to do. All right. As far as we have to have the mindset that I'm not asking for permission no more. Once I started thinking like that, that's when I started becoming successful. Like, you go and look for this table to help us. You know what I'm saying? I'm just tired.
No more waiting on a savior.
All right? You keep doing what you doing, and just don't bother me. I ain't gonna bother you. And now, when we start climbing and we start making all this, don't you want to step in? You should have did that years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say this, saying that we have to build our own, man. We have to have the mindset that, stop looking for permission for them to be successful. Go be successful.
Stop looking for somebody to save you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Only you
We
can do
have
that.
to, man, I mean, yeah, I love my people, man. Trust me. But the mindset of us is we have to be a part. We have to be equal. We have to be, no, they could do them and we could do us. You know, so it don't have to be the same. We don't have to do what they're doing or be a part of what they're doing. I mean, if they're not sharing the resources, then what's the purpose?
Create
You
your
know
own
what I'm saying?
resources, right?
I'm not trying to work for nobody, not them, not nobody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, build, that mindset where we all leaders, we all equal, we all entrepreneurs, we all business people. You know what I'm saying? And we just doing business with each other. You know what I'm saying? We contracting with each other with these different businesses that we own. We need to create our own banking systems, man. We need to create our own everything.
Dr. Smith, what do you think is our biggest obstacle today? We have a number of black men in prison. We have, I can just go on and on with our conditions that we're in right now today, from shootings to shooting each other to robbing each other. What do you think our big obstacle today is, that's keeping us from achieving and being just a better human being? What would you say our biggest obstacle that keeps us in this condition?
I'm an advocate for education. I think knowledge itself. I know a lot of times when we're talking about education in these spaces, people think of indoctrination. I'm not talking about indoctrination, but I'm talking about teaching our kids our history. That can get rid of the woe is me mentality. Knowing what your ancestors went through can kind of battle those excuses for why you choose to get on the streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't have opportunities, so I didn't have any choice. But then you look back and you see what these people had to deal with. And of course, that tackles the prison issue. So I feel like everything starts with us, with that education piece, with that knowledge of self, and teaching the history and addressing those issues once we know who we are and where we come from.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I like that point, the education, because it's extremely very important. And when we say education, I think I like I like to understand it as the self-awareness, to be aware of self. Education is the form of what we learn to how to navigate in this playing field. You're educated to learn. It's like playing Monopoly. When you open the game of Monopoly, first thing you do, you read the rules, because everybody's going to play it. Everybody's going to start at the same level, $200 each, right? And we get a chance to roll the dice, right? That's just a part of life, rolling the dice, right? And where that dice lands is how many steps you have to move. Sometimes we'll move on a property and we'll sit on the property and wait till the next move, instead of taking that $200 and go ahead and buy a piece of land so we can move on. And then we roll the dice and we end up in jail, and we go back around. So it's like learning the playing field. And I think that's the educational piece. But the one of the things that's most important, I think, in Saturday education is intuition. That's self-awareness. You cannot learn it from no school or no institution about self-awareness. I think that's something that certain individuals have to find within themselves.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I'm speaking to. Not that PWI or that indoctrination. The school part for me is what I need to do, what I want to do for my community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The knowledge that I have about my people never came from a school.
Mm-hmm.
Having those important conversations with my elders, having conversations like the ones I'm having now, and being really interested in where my ancestors came from, so I can understand, how I can move forward and use that as my strength.
Mm. So you're basically, I think, so you're taking your education into that field to where you want to educate others and bring their awareness up about themselves.
Yes, my goal is to create a curriculum that people can use to teach their kids about our history.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do, and I also want to try to introduce that into um, certain nonprofits and maybe some schools.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that JCPS does offer. They offer some people to come in and offer like a 8-16 week program with students. So,
So, but you've been in the you've been out here in the grassroots sort of for a minute now, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
So when we look at this, then there is a way forward, and I I've said it, and John said it. The bottom line is mindset, because I like what Dr. Smith just said. It's not necessarily about going to a PWI or private white institution or what have you. It's not even about, to me, necessarily going to college. Norvel made a decision of what he was going to do in life earlier on, and he went through some things, mastered some things. He learned about the things that he was doing in order to get there. And then I'm sure the education piece for even his genre of business right now continues to go on. He's still educating himself. He's still learning. He's still connecting. He's still building. And that's school right there. That's training right there. And I think that's the most important piece. I feel like if people are not educating themselves on ways to move forward when you are in disparaged situations, then guess what? You're failing yourself and your family right then and there.
Mm.
And I think most of us sitting right here will probably agree with that.
Yeah, actually, there are several vices that we are up against, and it's really the vices are really simple, but there are several vices that are keeping us in this condition. And one of those vices is our desperate search for identity.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest vices in our community is our desperate search for identity. The search for identity is what creates division amongst us. It is what actually stops us from really coming together and pooling our resources and wealth together to support each other and really help each other out. For many reasons, we look at each other different, and it doesn't have nothing to do with the color of skin. Usually it's based upon that what is called the big elephant in the room. That which you associate yourself to, whether you're Muslim, Christian, Hebrew, or whether you belong to this frat group or that fraternity, right? These divisions, because we are searching for identity. And as long as we're searching for identity, we are distracted of who we really are and how we can really achieve, right? Because it's really not about the color of the skin. Really, it's not. But we assume that it is. Now, when it comes to that piece, then we miss something that's very important. See, the universe don't care what color you are. Huh? Actually, it only moves towards those that uses the energy of the universe, which is the magnetic field, from your thought to the magnetic field out here. What you think is what you bring. So this is easily why we are controlled, because we are easily distracted. Slavery movies, movies about pain and suffering, right? These things are vices because we are again seeking identity. Hey, look at this. I'm gonna watch this movie. It's about 12 years a slave. And what they're doing basically is only programming your behavior back into you. Same as the rap music when we're listening to the music in this field here, how they actually change the dial to what we're listening to. People don't understand that frequency dial of how we see ourselves is through these images, and now we behaving the same. I think what's the most important of this identity thing is something Miss Smith mentioned earlier that was about this piece about who we were before we got here in this condition. Like an example, 100 years right after slavery, and none of us can imagine what slavery was really like, but we read about it, we saw movies about it. But can you imagine those people went through, and then in 100 years they had their own companies, they had their own banks, they had, right? Who was those people that came out of slavery that bond themselves together and work together to create their own community? And instead, the hell with sharing with them. We don't have to live with them. We build our own. What happened between then and now was the vices. Religious popped up. Everybody now got on the corners in the 50s and the 60s. Back in the 30s, I believe, started with the bullhorn talking about the black Jesus, the black God, or whatever the case may be. And then you had those who was Christian, then you had the Muslims, then you had the Moors, you had the 5%ers. You had all this popping up in the 30s and created all these different fractions and divisions. Some people didn't support Martin Luther King. The Nation of Islam didn't support him. You see all these groups that we had that was separating us. So apparently, with that separation, the Europeans had no problem in controlling us. Some of us say, well, Martin Luther King started this dream, and then next thing you know, we weren't allowed to have white women. We couldn't even look at a white woman until integration started. Now you got Negroes getting the white woman. Just the same as when I'm pointing it out about that, is that we could go to the white doctors now instead of going to the black doctor or the black dentist. And when we did that, the black dentist and the black doctor went out of business. The black shoe man went out of business, right? So whether it was a trick or not, it was still a mindset. It was still identity searching. We were still searching for an identity to be what? To be alike. We measured ourselves up to them, and we compared ourselves to them, and we wanted to be like them. Whether it was drive the same car, live in the same neighborhood, or have the will to shop with them, we were searching for identity. And we're going through this right now, this clause of identity crisis. When someone says they black and you identify as that's your identity, if I ask you your identity and you say you black, well, guess what? That word black is a trigger word. Now those who control the word can now change the dial. Officer killed black person killed by another officer. These black words are trigger words. And what do these trigger words do? Because you believe that's who you are, your emotion is attached to that. Now they're messing with your emotions, right? And now they got you over here marching and hollering and screaming, right? While someone somewhere is making money off you because they moved you into that area. It's the same as music and frequency, how they changed the dial. But inside of that, we have more black millionaires than ever before within these last 5-10 years, right? I mean, if you really look it up, we have more black millionaires. We have more black people moving millions of dollars now than ever before. Somehow we're missing something. And I think, Joe, you and I talked about Social Proof Podcast, where there's a podcast talking about millionaires. They're not talking about the street shit. They're not talking about who got locked up, who was ran over, or who was misused because of the color of their skin. They stay focused on the people who was millionaires. And as we went about this research of talking to those like this brother here about what made you come from this condition to this condition, you know what it was? It was mindset, behavior. All you really got to do is see somebody that came from the hood. Everyone knows someone that came from the hood and made it. Everyone knows. If you're not, you under a rock. And so the question is, it's not the hood, it's the individual behavior. He tweaked it. If only we can study the person's behavior, how he came out the hood, he may have read books. He may have worked harder. He may have shot ball more. I remember Kobe Bryant talking about what made him great was that he was seeing his players come in on time and leave when the practice was over with. Why? He said he didn't have respect for them. Why? Because he was there 2 hours before the practice start, and he was there several hours after the practice, and that's what made him a better person. You see, sometimes we look at these things, and for those of us who come up, we see this trick of this 8-hour mentality. Those of us who are self-employed or maybe who are more driven, drive ourselves harder than the 8-hour mentality. What is the 8-hour mentality? Is one that goes to work for 8 hours, come home, turn on the TV, smoke a joint, drink a beer, and do nothing else for the rest of the day, while foreigners come over here, get 2 or 3 jobs, drive a cab, and next thing you know, they got their own business. The problem is, why do they see us lazy? Because we are not taking the same 24-hour opportunity as the wealthy person does. How they get up 4 in the morning and start their day and end their day and later in the evening, right? With no games, no television, no distraction. I think for the most part, our own device, our biggest device is our distraction. I don't see nothing out here stopping us from achieving. I'm an importer myself, and I own my own company, have my own products. And not only that, I'm a distributor of my own products to their own stores. And not because I'm a convicted felon, not because I'm black, not because I'm not educated. None of those things stopped me from achieving my goal. It was based upon mindset. The first thing I had to do was remove myself from these identity crises. I don't call myself black. I ain't Muslim. I ain't Moor. I ain't none of the things those who tried to put me in. And the problem that comes that when you move yourself out of that vice, people see you as weird or different or sell out. Why? Because they can no longer identify you in the circle of what they were told you are, because you in this color scheme, right? Because of this. You know, I'm not black, and I don't move like I'm somebody that's black. That's a difference, right? And I think that's the piece that we stay stuck in that becomes our vice. When I look at our situation today, I see more black men today than ever before. And I came up in the 60s. Black men today are the weakest I've ever seen. I'm not going to say this on a blanket statement, because there are many of us who are moving it, right? But we got black men today who were basically raised by weak women, because somehow that man ain't around for whatever reason. These men are bitchy, they weak, they emotional. They're running around here smoking weed all day, drinking. They're watching TV, trying to be rappers. They're walking around. You see men now walking around with pajamas on in the middle of the day. I think for the most part, the mindset is someone that are seeking identity crisis, and because they can't find it, they don't find their true nature to be able to survive and be able to give their divine. I say that for most people, if you look at the universe, if the universe was an accident, then you're an accident. But if the universe was a divine plan, then you're a divine plan. Then how do you find your purpose? And I think you're lost if you're not finding your purpose inside that identity crisis, that thin line, who am I? Right. And I think that piece right there keeps us from moving forward.
Which also back to that knowledge of self, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw Hamara said, I don't have an identity crisis. I mean, we all have families, but it is interesting. Like I really sit back and I'm intrigued with the different people who say I'm a Moor, I'm a 5%er, you know, I'm a Muslim, I'm not this kind of Muslim, I'm this kind of Muslim, I'm Baptist. And then when I tell them, well, I believe in the law of attraction, right? So I control my thoughts. If I have a negative thought, I try to think of something positive. I say, I'm going to get my degree. I don't say, I hope I pass. I don't believe in hope. I dwell in positivity. So you're right. Absolutely. It's all about the mindset. And I think that that's always been there. And I don't know how we got away from it, because I remember my mother used to tell me you have to speak things into existence. And she was Baptist when she used to tell me that. But now when you say stuff like that, people are like, oh, no, that's not religious. That's demonic. And I'm like, that's not demonic. That's exactly what we need to move forward. You have to think positive.
Yes.
You have to say that you're going to do it instead of this is what's happening. Right. So I agree with you on that. And I also think that a lot of times, I think one of the big things that happened was that PTSS. And once I learned about it and I knew what it was, then now I'm able to identify certain behaviors that I was doing or certain ways that I was thinking because of that internalized oppression or that generational trauma. So again, I guess that all, to me, it all circles back to knowledge of self, because I feel like a lot of people have no idea that really who they are is very simple. If they can look at their mother, at their father, they can, like she said, they can look at their grandparents. That's who you are. And why would you want to delineate from that? Right. I'm Rufus Smith's granddaughter. You know, he was a descendant of chattel slavery. That's who I am. That's what I know. And I don't belong in another country. We built this country. Why should I have to leave this country? You know, it's just certain things that you're right. It's all divisive. It's all divisive constructs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I tell you what, folks, you know, this conversation is fantastic. And, you know, to be honest, I want to continue it to another show as well. So look forward to us reaching out, especially Dr. Smith, to get you back on. You know, I've been trying to get you on for a minute anyway, so that we can kind of continue this conversation and further it along as we talk about moving forward. Is that cool with you? Would you be willing to come back?
Absolutely, but you have to put up my professional picture, okay? Not a Twitter.
Okay, I got you. You know, I knew better when I put the flyer together, and I was like, quick second that I had to do it, and I was like, man, I think she might gonna get me on this one. I had to put something with that beautiful smile up. So we will go ahead, Queen, and get that together for the next flyer. Definitely send that to me so I can make that happen. And I appreciate you, brother Norvel, and looking forward to next week with you as well. And as we talk about the tax lien business with you and Dorothy, and just looking forward to that further conversation. I'm looking forward to hearing about John's conversation with you as he gets with you on the whole investor tip, because I think you really sparked something for himself, myself, and others to look into supporting you as you build this whole thing down the road, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all as well, man.
Yeah, you guys.
Absolutely.
Any last words? Any last words, brother?
Man, I want to say, man, everything Dr. Smith was saying, I agree with. Education, but not the traditional education. I'm telling you, I was at Tulane University, man. I had a 3.8 grade average, but I didn't know nothing about the stuff that I know about now. I didn't learn this in college. You know what I'm saying? Buying books, Barnes and Noble. I'm a strong advocate for education, but when it became relevant to me that I don't need the degree if I'm running my own company, unless you're a professional or something like that, the degree is not even necessary. The education is, though.
Absolutely. Folks,
Don't. I want my last thought.
Yeah, I want you.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is we need to come to your last thought. So, folks, listen up as she speaks.
My last thought is that I know MLK made some mistakes, but I just want to encourage people to look into MLK more. I feel like a lot of what they put out there, I'll just call them they, is what they want people to perceive him to be. He's a lot more progressive and radical than most people know him to be. And read his books and look at what he was saying within those last 2 years before he was killed, and then you'll see why they decided to take his life. And that's all I have to say.
Absolutely.
Yep. Any last words, John, before we go?
Man, great show. Listen, everyone, it was a great show. Definitely very informative. Definitely love meeting you, brother North. It was definitely a dope conversation with you. A lot of memories resonated with me dealing with your conversation and your story. We'll share that, I'm sure, one day together. And Sister Dr. Smith, definitely glad that you came on to this discussion. Very well information that you gave. Appreciate that. So, but yes, I think this is the conversation we need to have, just to get everyone on board to understanding on what it takes to achieve greatness. And I think showing this brother here and where he came from is a great way of looking at the situation that we're in, specifically for Black men, because we in a dying situation as a people, as a whole, a collective. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but it's not our focus, because our focus is those who are actually achieving greatness. And I think the more that we display that piece, opposed to exposing or playing a lot of the other, I think we get more done. Talking to this brother and listening to those who achieve, even with Dr. Smith, or what they have achieved, that is the opportunity, because that shows the playing field is different than the playing field back in the 60s.
Absolutely. So, great show, guys. Appreciate you. And again, if anybody wants, you can go check out in the comments here there's a link to this conversation continuing with about 30 different Facebook Lives throughout a bunch of different organizations across the world about this same conversation and question about MLK. But again, I'm going to make sure that you, John, and Norvel's numbers are shared, if that's cool with you, Brother Norvel. Then
Sure.
Absolutely. I'm going to make sure y'all's information is shared. Appreciate it, man. Another great show, Brother John. Appreciate you. Love you, family, all of y'all. Appreciate you for being on, and we'll see you another time.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeah. You ready? Streaming live all over his social media and on your favorite music and podcast streaming platforms.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Also, check out thetippingpointshow.com. The Tipping Point Show.